Good morning. It is another rainy, drizzly morning here on the homestead. We've been saying that a lot this year. That's the weather we've been having. We did not get hit hard with the hurricane. We had a lot of winds, but no rain. Yesterday was beautiful. We were up at Scott's Recreation, having fun, meeting some of you guys, driving tractors, trying out some new excavators. That was a great time. If you guys are ever looking to try out equipment, I suggest you go to a tractor show, tractor days. If you're in the New England area, Scott's does tractor days once a year, and they do a show in Augusta, Maine, and you can try out equipment, and that is fun. I got to try out one of the big excavators. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have, but I did. But today we're supposed to get 1.5 inches of rain. So right now it's drizzly. I'm not complaining because it's going to be coming down a lot harder. Luckily, we got the inside of the workshop to be working in today. Grass is looking good over there. We spread. I'm hoping this 1.5 inches of rain doesn't wash out the roots that have already started. I'm hoping they got enough hold to hold the soil back. We're going to find out. That's kind of how life goes. Wait and see is the name of the game, I guess. So Gina is up there with Azalea and Cookie. She gets them cleaned up, or I should say she gets Azalea cleaned up. I come back down here. I get the alfalfa pellets and some hay if we need it. We don't need hay today. We just need some alfalfa pellets for Azalea. And then we're going to get milking. We've been averaging 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of milk once a day. We leave Cookie on her throughout the day, which is her calf. And then that way we don't need to milk at night, and he can grow and be a scrumptious little T-bone steaks later in the future for us. That's nutritionally dense, so that makes us happy. I believe Gina's going to be making some yogurt today because we have been eating all of our yogurt lately. Ice cream, we haven't been having so much because we haven't been getting that much cream lately. So we've been doing a lot more yogurt, and yeah, we ate the last of it. So we need to make some more. I'll turn some lights on. You haven't seen the powerhouse all painted yet.
Okay, let's see this color.
Yeah, you don't even know the color yet.
Oh yeah.
Bam. That'll go good with the black.
Yeah.
So that was 1 gallon of paint to do those 2 walls, or 1 wall and a ceiling, which I think is crazy.
Not sure how I feel about the color. It's gray. You know, I don't like gray.
This is a true gray.
I don't like gray. I love gray. I'm glad we covered the floor. You got quite a mess going.
Me too, because you're a messy painter.
Could be. I don't know, are we doing a colored epoxy or just a plain? We don't know yet.
I was just going to say, today we need to work on getting a exhaust fan figured out where we're going to put it and installed. I got it over there. We want to epoxy the floor in the workshop, and I'm thinking the one I've been finding is a dark gray with speckles you put in it for traction and stuff. So I'm thinking that's what we're going to do. But before we can epoxy, I want to get a exhaust fan installed because the epoxy is going to smell, and we know that. So we'll be able to have the garage doors open and then have the exhaust fan going. All right, so we ordered an exhaust fan the other day. And we got to figure out what we need to do for wiring and installation. So let's bring it over there. We have better lighting. So this is a 20-inch shutter style exhaust fan. So I'm thinking it should fit in perfectly in all of the slats for our gable end truss wall. I shouldn't really have to mess with the framing of it. That's what we're going to find out today. I don't know if it's hardwired or if we plug it in to an outlet. Okay, so it is a plug-in style. That's what I was kind of hoping, because it would make it easier to, we'll put a plug up there on a switch down below. So that way when we need to turn our exhaust fan on, we can just turn the switch and let it rip. So let's see what we have. Bam. Nice. A nice kind of like metallic-y charcoal-ish. So that'll match everything we have. So that's nice. All right, so we're 20 and a quarter, say 20 and a half, so that way you have a little bit of wiggle room on each side by 20 and a quarter, so we'll call it 20 and a half. That'll give us an 1/8-inch gap. And then we'll have to bend some flashing up for above when we do the outside work. All right, let's go up and get this figured out where we can put it. So right here would be center. So we're not gonna go center because I don't wanna cut this if I don't have to. If it's gonna fit in one of these squares, I'm just gonna go one of those squares. Let's get a measurement and see. So my hope is we can just kind of cut the metal out here and that this spacing is gonna work. 20 and a half, no way. How about this way? 20 and 3/8. That'll actually work perfect. It might be a little tight up and down, but I think we should have it. Worst case scenario, I can take my oscillating tool and trim that off. Yeah, we're 20 and a quarter there. So that side will be tight. 20 and 3/8, so I might have to just kind of trim that a little bit. 20 and a half, 20 and a half. So I'll have to cut some 2x4s to go in between here. For a second there, I couldn't find my wiring. I thought I had ran out. So I ran out of all the 14-2 wire that we used for the lights. So I'm gonna be using 12-2 for the outlet up above for the switched one. And then we're also gonna be using it for the rest of it. All right, I think I got it figured out. Wiring is one of those things, at least for me, I gotta do visual mapping in my head to see how I wanna run it all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, really? I shut a light switch off? That's funny. I was like, what did I do? All right, we are roughly 14 inches. Let's go right here. All right, now we can run power up above for that other outlet and get that done. And then all of the wiring up above will be done. Started doing the inside work because it's supposed to be downpouring right now, but it's not. So I am hoping I can get this wiring finished and then get this fan installed before the rain comes. That would be ideal. The outlet wiring is done. Let's get, I think I want to pre-drill some holes out in the corners, and then I can go out there with a ladder on the other side and I can cut it out with my grinder. 1. 4. Well, these ones will be pretty easy to do. So if we go like that and like that, it'll be 20. All right, so let's not. And hopefully it doesn't rain, because yeah, I don't want to have a big hole and have it raining. That would not be fun. All right, so now I gotta get a piece of J-channel. So let me get one made for the fan itself, and then we can get the fan installed. Let's make sure everything works just fine. Awesome. I'm glad it works. So let's get this in. Think we have an audience. What are you doing, Cookie? You another inspector? I think so. Okay, so that way it fits in. All right, let's see if I can get it this way. So it fits. I gotta figure out a way to get it in. I can't do it from the outside and get it the way I want it, so we're gonna have to loosen this up a little bit in here. Well, I'm sure you can hear that. It is raining out good right now. We need to go outside and do some work outside. And I don't feel like it, but I do need to go. I got a drill still out there. Pick up the drill. We need to go check out some hay. We're trying to get our winter hay, and we've been trying to get it for a while, and I'm trying to make sure I get a good hay that Azalea likes. When it comes to a dairy cow, they're a little bit more fussier, and a good hay produces more milk. So that you don't want to force them to eat hay that they don't want, because then it doesn't have the nutritionist value it needs. Let me get down below because it's loud. You want to make sure you have a good nutritional value of hay for a dairy cow, so that way you're getting good milk, and you don't want to just be feeding them stuff that doesn't have good feed to it. So been kind of fussy and picking out hay that she likes, and we found some that she really likes earlier this year, but we bought all of it, that they never made it again, or didn't have a chance to cut any from this farm because of all this weather. And where this farm is that we got the first hay from, it is a north facing farm, so like all the fields don't have any southern facing fields. So once it gets later in the season, they cannot dry their hay, so they weren't able to make a second cut. But there are other farms that we've been trying to get some from, and Azalea has turned her nose up at like 3, maybe 4 different batches of hay that we've got from other farms. She didn't like it, so I tried 2 recently. She liked them both, and we're going back. They got a new batch from one of the farms she liked, and the hay bales are a lot bigger. Cost-wise, we're paying a little bit more a bale, but the bales all weigh more, and they're more of a consistent weight. So we need to run out, check out this hay, and if it's what we like, we're gonna be buying quite a bit of it, hopefully enough to get through the winter. So since it's raining, we, even though it's dark, there we go, it's better. We are gonna take advantage of the weather and go for a ride, and then we'll finish this up when it's not raining. And hopefully it doesn't rain sideways and come in the shop. All right, we found our supply of hay. We can't get it today though because it's too rainy, so hopefully tomorrow it'll be nice out and we'll get it tomorrow. But we got it locked in, which is good. Hopefully it won't be raining tomorrow. We can get it delivered tomorrow and Azalea will be happy. We got some rain last night. We got over an inch of rain. I wanted to come down here and see how the creek is doing, and it is flowing pretty good. We gotta have some more work to do up where the new barn is going. I got flooded out pretty good. Yesterday it wasn't bad. When we have a small amount of rain, it's not bad, but when you get like an inch and a half of rain, it's flooded. I'll show you guys that in a minute, but I was curious to see how this looks. It smells so good. All the weeds down here are in blossom and it smells amazing. We'd like to get this area cleaned up and mowed into some good pasture, but with all the rain we've had, everything is waterlogged this year. That's what I was going to say. And then I smelt all these amazing weeds just in bloom. But man, everything, all of the ground is so waterlogged and saturated right now. There's no place for the water to go but to run off. But we are lucky the way that this property is designed. Most of the time the water has a place to go. We might get some muddy spots, but we have enough room for all of the water to get absorbed over time. But man, it's been a wet year here. And I know in a lot of areas it's been a dry year, so it's just crazy. We need to get inside and finish up the fan. I was hoping to get back to that yesterday. It didn't happen. I didn't have a chance to finish that up with all the rain, and then I did the podcast with Ben and Jason. Ben's from Modern Homestead and Jason is from Solar Land. We do a podcast on all the podcast channels like Spotify, iTunes, and we also have a YouTube channel. It's called Homestead Shop Talk. So if you guys want to check out a podcast of 3 homesteaders sitting around talking about homesteading things and different topics, check out Homestead Shop Talk. We have a lot of fun. It's just fun getting together with a bunch of like-minded guys and having good conversation. So if you want to check that out, I'll have that link below. But let's get up there and get that installed. On a positive note, we got a good winter supply of hay secured. That should probably be getting delivered today, weather dependent, because we're supposed to be getting a bunch of rain. We didn't want to deliver that yesterday with all of the rain, so hopefully today the rain will hold off and we can get that done. I'm just out there staring at the trees and looking at the clouds. It's not looking very promising, but we'll get the hay. Let's try this. I'm really surprised that no water came in last night with all the rain we were getting, so that tells me the roof overhang is working. I'm happy with that. Let's get outside and get all of the siding put back together, make sure our flashing is good, and then, yeah, we can get this running. That actually looks really good. Bam, that drip edge is perfect. That'll shed all of the water off. I like it. Yeah, that's gonna be nice, all right. Let's get this screwed back in. I'm scared there for a second. I couldn't find any more switches. But I found them, we got 2 more. right, let's see. We got a fan. We got lights. We just had a vet check for all of the animals on the homestead. We ended up losing one of the sheep. One of the mornings we came out and the sheep was just no longer. I don't know what happened. I actually think what ended up happening is most likely worms, because it's been a super wet year. She was completely fine. And then, like I said, one morning we just came out. So we got the vet up. And the hard part is the vets in our area are getting harder and harder to find. We used to have a vet that we used before. That vet ended up closing down. So we had just found a new vet and they just came out. They checked all of the animals. The other sheep, they think she might have some worms. They took a fecal sample and they are going to check all of the animals' worm counts and see what we need to do for that. So they're all looking good and healthy. She said the cows are looking good, fat and happy. Not too fat, but they're nice and full. They got full ruminants. They got plenty of food, eating lots of grass on pasture. But unfortunately, we did lose one of the sheep. So the cool thing is we were talking to the vet. She did her vet practice. She went to school over in Ireland, so she has a lot of experience with sheep. So when we got these sheep, we got two. We didn't know if we were going to keep them for breeding stock or for meat, because depending on a couple of things, we don't want to breed them if their quality of stock isn't there. They were from a pasture-raised flock, but one of them had worms, and maybe they both do. So we were talking with her. She has a lot of experience with sheep over in Ireland, and she said a lot of the flocks over there, especially the one she worked with, was parasite resistance, just because they breed for that over the years. And over in Ireland, they've been raising sheep forever. So she was saying that farm never had any issues. I was like, man, you gotta start importing some of those sheep over here. But she said you can't import live sheep from Ireland. So kind of getting off the subject, but she was saying if you have your animals that have issues with worms and you keep breeding them, you're breeding that worm count into their offspring. So breeding for animals with worms, or how they are parasite resistance, does make a difference, because if they're not parasite resistant, they'll pass that on to their kids, and their kids will keep passing that on. So it's something to keep an eye on. That's one of the reasons we only got 2 sheep this year, to try them out and to see if we like this flock. They were from a pasture-raised flock, but you just never know. So hopefully 297 still does good. We call her half and half. We're gonna keep an eye on her, and the vet's gonna let us know what she thinks we should do. If we should keep her and use her for breeding stock, or if we should cull her. That'll probably take another month or so, but hey, we're making progress and we're growing the homestead little by little. Let's get back and get this fan finished up. Oh yeah, you can feel that. That is moving some good airflow. If we find one's not enough, we could always put another one over here too. We do have another outlet on the same switch, so that would work, but I think that should be good. But if it is an issue, we can always add a second one. I'm glad we did that. Now we can epoxy the floor. We're just gonna clean it up, move everything out, wait for it to dry out, because all the stuff's gotta go outside while we epoxy. So I'm glad that is up. The best part is it's really not that loud. I can hear it up here, you guys probably can too, but downstairs you can hear it running, but you kind of have to listen for it. So I can hear it running down here, you guys probably can too, but it's really not, it's not that annoying. It's not like a buzzing sound, it's just on. I don't plan on having that on all the time, but if we're using something in here, working on a vehicle and it stinks, we're epoxying the floor, or if it's hot out, we want to get airflow flowing through, we can open the door and whew. So I am excited about that. Let's see how it looks from the outside. Oh yeah, I can definitely feel the breeze from that. So that is good. I like that. Having good airflow is going to be nice for the shop. So hopefully one fan's enough. Worst case scenario, we'll have to add another one, but I think that'll be good.
Okay, it's time for another simple supper. I'm gonna do a 1-pot spaghetti, but instead of using spaghetti noodles, I'm going to go ahead and use this organic millet brown rice ramen and use that for spaghetti noodles instead. And I'm gonna go ahead, I have my burger cooking, and then I do not have any pasta sauce. I did not grow a lot of tomatoes this year, and the tomatoes I did grow didn't do that well because it was so wet out. So I have this, maybe next year, who knows if I'll make sauce or not, but I have some organic pasta sauce here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cook up my burger, add some spices. So I have my burger almost cooked. I'm gonna go ahead and add some garlic. This garlic is from our garden, and the garlic did do good. Some of them split because of the water, because of the rain, but most of them did really well. I'm just making sure the ones that split, that I'm using them all up first. So I'm just gonna let that cook down for a minute, get the garlic all nice and tender, and then I'm going to strain this burger and then add in some spices and then add everything else in the pot and just let it do its thing, and it should be that easy. Do salt. And some pepper. Some Italian seasoning. Give it a stir. And my sauce. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put the whole block in because that's how these come, and maybe I'll just try to break it a little bit, but they just make a mess. Yep, just makes a mess. So spaghetti would definitely be easier, but we're gonna go ahead and use these noodles. Make a mess. So now I'm just bringing this up to a boil, and then I'm gonna pay attention and keep an eye on the noodles, which normally they only take 4 minutes to cook. So I'm just gonna sit here and do that. And once they are cooked, I think I'm just gonna keep it on low. I'm just gonna go ahead and let it sit and marinate in there once it's all cooked, just with a cover on until we're ready to eat.
That are gentle, working in a